The night sky was unusually bright that evening. Lena walked along the quiet street of her small town, the cool wind brushing against her cheeks. Most people in the town were already asleep, but she liked the calm of the night. It made her feel peaceful, even though she often felt a little lonely. She had lived in this town all her life, and while she loved the simple rhythm of her days, sometimes she longed for something extraordinary to happen. As she walked past the empty fields on the edge of town, she noticed a faint light flickering in the distance. It was not the gentle glow of the streetlights nor the soft sparkle of the stars. It was different. It was quick, bright, and moving strangely, almost like a small fire dancing on the grass. Lena's curiosity pushed her forward. She had always been cautious, but tonight something inside her urged her to see what it was. When she reached the spot, she could not believe her eyes. There among the tall grass was a small figure. It looked almost like a child, but it was unlike any human child Lena had ever seen. Its skin shimmered softly under the moonlight, and its eyes were large and bright, glowing with a gentle golden light. It stared at her with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Lena took a careful step forward. "Hello," she said softly, not wanting to scare it. The small creature tilted its head and blinked, and Lena noticed it had tiny hands with long, delicate fingers. It made a soft sound, almost like a hum that seemed to carry a strange musical tone. Her heart raced, but it was not fear. It was a feeling she had never known before, a mix of awe, curiosity, and something like a motherly instinct. Lena had always loved children, and this little being seemed so small and alone that she could not leave it there. The creature took a hesitant step toward her. Lena slowly knelt down to be closer to its level. "It's okay," she whispered. "You don't have to be afraid." She reached out a hand, and the creature mirrored her movement, touching her fingers lightly. The touch was warm, soft, and almost comforting, as if it carried a quiet energy that made Lena feel calm. She looked around, realizing how late it had become. She could not leave the creature out here in the cold alone and frightened. Carefully, she scooped it up in her arms. The creature did not resist, instead wrapping its tiny arms around her neck. Lena's heart swelled. She had never felt such an instant connection, and it was clear that this little being needed her care. She walked back home, keeping the creature close. As she entered her small house, the creature looked around with wide eyes, its glowing skin giving the dimly lit room a soft, magical light. Lena set it down gently on the carpet, watching it explore its new surroundings. It moved slowly, touching the furniture and tilting its head at every sound. "What's your name?" Lena asked, though she knew the creature might not understand. She tried to speak gently, hoping that in time it could learn to communicate with her. The creature tilted its head and hummed again, a sound that seemed almost musical, almost like it was listening and trying to understand. For the next few hours, Lena watched it carefully. It was intelligent, she realized, observing everything with quiet attention. It seemed curious about human objects, the lamp, the books, even the simple kitchen utensils. At one point, it picked up a small cup and examined it, turning it over in its tiny hands. Then, with a soft sound, it set it down as if satisfied with what it had learned. Lena felt a strange warmth in her heart. She had always wanted to make a difference in someone's life, to care for someone who truly needed her, and now here was a being who depended on her completely. She did not know where it had come from or how, but she knew she could not turn away. Over the next few days, Lena prepared her home for the creature. She made a small bed for it with blankets and pillows. She tried offering food, but it seemed unfamiliar with human meals. She realized it might need something else to eat, something from its own kind, though she had no idea what that could be. Still, it seemed content for now, playing quietly and following her movements around the house. During this time, Lena learned to communicate in small ways. She noticed the creature responded to her voice, and when she made gentle gestures, it often copied her. Slowly, a bond began to grow between them. She named it Arin, after the stars that had shone so brightly the night she found it. The name felt right, as if the little being had always belonged under that sky. Lena knew she had to be careful. The world might not understand, and people could react with fear. She decided to keep Arin a secret, at least for now, until she could understand more about what he needed. But hiding him did not make her heart feel guilty. It felt protective. She wanted him to feel safe, and she wanted to be the one to care for him. At night, when the house was quiet and the moon cast its silver light through the windows, Lena would sit by Arin's small bed and watch him sleep. His glowing skin dimmed slightly in sleep, but the light never fully disappeared. It was a gentle, constant presence like a soft heartbeat in the room. Lena often found herself whispering, "I'll take care of you, Aaron, always." And Aaron in his sleep would reach out a tiny hand, almost as if he could feel her words. Though they could not speak in the same language, a silent understanding began to grow between them, a connection that went beyond words, beyond species. It was something pure, something deep, something like family. Lena had never imagined that her life could change so quickly. One quiet walk had led her to the most extraordinary being she had ever met. And though she did not yet know what the future held, she knew one thing with absolute certainty. She could not, and would not, let Aaron be alone. Not ever. Outside, the night sky continued to shine brightly. Stars twinkled as if celebrating the beginning of something new. And in the quiet house, a human woman and her extraordinary child began a journey that would change both of their lives forever. Days passed, and Lena and Aaron settled into a quiet rhythm. Each morning, Lena would wake early, making breakfast for herself and trying to offer something to Aaron. But Aaron was still unfamiliar with human food. He would sniff the bread or the fruit, tapping it with tiny fingers, and sometimes let out a soft musical hum that seemed like curiosity or amusement. Lena laughed softly, realizing that learning to eat like a human would take time for him. After breakfast, Lena would spend hours showing Aaron small things around the house. She taught him to pick up objects carefully, to place cups on the table, and even how to open and close doors. Aaron was smart. His movements were precise, almost too precise, as if he had been studying everything carefully from the start. But there was still something gentle and childlike about the way he explored the world, the way he touched everything with wonder. One morning, Lena sat on the couch watching Aaron examine a small potted plant. He gently tapped the leaves and they shimmered slightly under the sunlight streaming through the window. Lena smiled, realizing that even the smallest things fascinated him. "Do you like it?" she asked softly. Aaron turned his glowing eyes toward her and hummed, a sound full of happiness. Lena laughed. She did not understand the language, but the meaning was clear. The bond between them grew stronger each day. Lena discovered that Aaron had a way of understanding emotions without words. If she was sad or worried, he would move closer, placing a tiny hand on her arm or resting his glowing head against her shoulder. It was comforting in a way Lena had never experienced before. It was as if Aaron could see inside her heart, sensing her feelings even when she tried to hide them. One afternoon, Lena decided to take Aaron outside. She carried him carefully through the garden, pointing out the flowers, the trees, and the birds singing in the branches. Aaron's eyes widened with every new sight. He reached out to touch the petals, and Lena noticed that the plants seemed to respond in a strange way. The leaves would gently move, almost as if they were welcoming his touch. Lena blinked, unsure if it was her imagination, or if Aaron really had a connection to nature that she did not understand. The neighbors were not around that day, which gave Lena relief. She knew she had to be careful. If anyone saw Aaron, they would react with fear or confusion. Lena had heard stories of strange things being misunderstood, and she did not want that to happen. She only wanted him to feel safe. At night, Lena tried to teach Aaron more. She would sit on the floor with him and show him simple words written on paper. She wrote water, home, friend, and pointed to the objects or concepts. Aaron watched carefully, tilting his head, humming softly, and then imitating her gestures. He was learning slowly but surely. Lena was amazed at his intelligence. She could see that he would adapt to human life, given time and patience. One evening, Lena felt tired after a long day. She sat in her chair watching Aaron play with a small wooden toy. He moved it with delicate hands, making quiet musical sounds as he experimented. Lena smiled, feeling warmth fill her heart. She had never imagined that caring for someone so different could feel so natural, so right. But Lena also knew there were challenges ahead. Aaron was not human, and he would never be fully understood by the people around them. That thought sometimes made her anxious. Yet when she looked at him, glowing softly in the lamplight, she realized that love and care were more important than understanding every detail. She could guide him, protect him, and help him grow, and that was enough for now. Aron's curiosity often led to surprising moments. One day, he picked up Lena's hairbrush and began to mimic her actions. He brushed his glowing small head as if it were hair. Lena laughed aloud, clapping her hands. "You are so clever, Aron," she said. He responded with a happy hum, a sound that made Lena feel as though he understood her praise perfectly. The little moments were magical. Aron would sometimes sit by the window at night, looking at the stars. His eyes would shine brighter, and he would hum softly, as if he recognized something in the sky that Lena could not see. She would sit beside him, wrapping her arm around him, and feel a connection that went beyond words. It was quiet, yet full of meaning, a shared understanding that they belonged together. One afternoon, Lena tried to teach Aron to play simple games. She rolled a small ball toward him and he batted it back carefully. At first he was slow, unsure of the rules, but soon he was laughing in his own musical way, chasing the ball across the room. Lena's heart swelled with happiness. She realized that he was not just her responsibility, he was also her joy, her companion, and her friend. Despite the happiness, Lena sometimes felt worry. She wondered where Aron had come from and whether he had family somewhere in the stars. She thought about the strange light in the fields the night she found him and the feeling that he was sent for a reason. She did not know what that reason was, but she hoped that one day they would both find the answers together. At night, after Aron had fallen asleep in his small bed, Lena would sit quietly thinking. She traced her finger along his small glowing arm and whispered, "I will protect you, Aron, always." Even though he was asleep, she felt his presence respond, a faint glow pulsing in the darkness. Lena smiled, knowing that their bond was real and unbreakable. Time passed and Aron began to adapt more to human life. He followed Lena wherever she went, learning her routines and copying her gestures. He still did not speak human words, but communication was no longer a problem. His hums and gestures, combined with Lena's patience, created a language of love and understanding. And in those quiet, magical days, Lena realized something important. Family was not only about blood or origin. It was about care, connection, and trust. She had found something extraordinary in Aron, and he had found something extraordinary in her. Together they were creating a small world full of wonder, love, and hope. Outside, the stars continued to shine brightly, as if watching over them. Inside, Lena and Aron laughed, learned, and grew together, unaware of the larger world waiting outside their small house. And for the first time in a long time, Lena felt completely at peace, knowing that she was exactly where she was meant to be, by the side of her extraordinary child, sharing life, love, and the quiet magic of everyday moments. The days had grown warmer, and Lena could feel the gentle breath of spring in the air. Flowers began to bloom in her garden, and the birds returned to sing their cheerful songs. Aron had grown more comfortable in their home, exploring every corner with curiosity and excitement. Yet there was a sense of mystery about him that Lena could not ignore. He was extraordinary, not only in appearance but also in the strange ways he seemed to understand the world. One morning, Lena noticed something unusual. Aron was sitting by the window, staring intently at the sky. His glowing eyes shimmered brighter than usual, and he hummed a melody that was soft, almost like a song. Lena watched him quietly, fascinated. She had never seen him behave this way before. "Aron?" she asked gently. "What is it? Do you see something up there?" Aron turned his head toward her and made a series of small sounds, almost like words, though she could not understand them. Then he pointed upward toward a cluster of stars that seemed brighter than the others. Lena's heart skipped a beat. She could not explain why, but she felt that Aron was communicating something important, something about where he came from. Over the next few days, Lena tried to observe more closely. Aron would often spend long hours looking at the sky, humming softly and touching the light that seemed to surround him. Lena realized that he might be sensing something beyond the human world. The thought made her both curious and a little worried. What if someone else came looking for him, What if he had a family somewhere that needed him? One afternoon, Lena was in the kitchen preparing a small snack when she heard a soft sound behind her. She turned to see Aaron holding a small device that he had somehow found in a drawer. It looked like a tiny box with buttons and a screen, though she had no idea what it did. Aaron pressed a button gently, and a soft light projected from the device, forming patterns in the air. Lena watched in awe. The patterns were not random. They looked like stars, constellations, and shapes she had never seen before. Aaron hummed in a way that matched the movements of the light, as if he were controlling it with his thoughts. Lena realized that Aaron was not only intelligent but had abilities far beyond anything she had imagined. "Aaron, that's amazing," she said softly. "But we have to be careful. People might not understand this." Aaron looked at her, his golden eyes glowing warmly. He reached out and touched her hand, and Lena felt a gentle warmth spread through her. It was as if he was trying to say, "I trust you, Lena. I know you will protect me." She nodded, holding his hand tightly. That night, Lena lay awake thinking about Aaron's origins. She had never met anyone like him before. His skin glowed softly. His mind seemed connected to the stars, and he had abilities that were impossible to explain. Yet, despite all these differences, he was still a child who needed love, guidance, and care. Lena realized that she would do anything to keep him safe, even if it meant keeping secrets from the world. The next morning, Lena decided to take Aaron outside for a walk in the fields near their home. She wanted him to see the sunlight, feel the breeze, and enjoy the simple joys of the world. As they walked, Aaron stopped suddenly, his eyes fixed on a small silver object partially buried in the grass. He picked it up carefully, examining it with his glowing fingers. Lena recognized it as a piece of metal, but it seemed more than ordinary. Aaron hummed softly and pointed toward the sky. Lena realized that he was trying to communicate again. He wanted to tell her something about where he had come from, or perhaps a message from someone looking for him. Lena knelt beside him, taking his tiny hand in hers. She did not understand the words, but she understood the emotion, curiosity, hope, and a longing to connect with something larger than himself. For several days, Lena observed that Aaron's behavior had changed. He was more thoughtful, sometimes staring at objects for long periods, sometimes touching his forehead as if remembering something important. Lena began to wonder if he had memories of another world, memories that he could not fully explain. She did not press him, knowing that understanding would come in time. One evening, as the sun set and the sky turned shades of orange and pink, Lena heard a soft sound outside. She stepped into the garden and saw Aaron standing under the tree looking up. A shimmering light appeared in the distance, faint at first but growing brighter. Lena's heart raced. She did not know what it was, but she felt that it was connected to Aaron's past. "Aaron, what is it?" she whispered. Aaron pointed to the light and hummed, a soft song filled with emotion. Lena could see the longing in his eyes. She realized that he was waiting for something or someone. Her mind raced with possibilities. Could it be his family? A friend from his world? Or something even greater? Something she could not imagine. Lena stepped closer, placing a protective hand on his shoulder. "It's okay," she said gently. "Whatever it is, we will face it together." That night, Lena could not sleep. She thought about Aaron, about the mysterious lights in the sky, and about the strange connection he seemed to have with the universe. She realized that their lives were about to change in ways she could not predict. But one thing was certain. Her love for Aaron was stronger than any fear, and she would do everything she could to protect him. The next morning, Lena prepared a small bag with essentials, food, water, and some blankets just in case they needed to leave quickly. She did not know what was coming, but she wanted to be ready. Aaron watched her, his glowing eyes calm but full of understanding. He reached out and touched her cheek, a silent gesture of trust. Lena smiled through her worry, feeling a deep bond with him that went beyond words. As they stepped outside together, the sky was clear, and the stars from the previous nights were fading with the morning light. Yet Lena could feel the presence of something extraordinary nearby, something connected to Aaron's past and his mysterious origins. She held his hand tightly, knowing that whatever happened next, they would face it together. For the first time, Lena realized that their ordinary lives had shifted into something extraordinary. Aaron was not just a child she had found in the field. He was a bridge to another world, a being who carried stories, mysteries, and wonders beyond her imagination. and she too had become part of that story, a guardian, a mother, and a friend to someone truly extraordinary. As they walked back toward their home, Lena glanced at Aren's glowing form and felt a wave of hope. Whatever challenges awaited them, whatever mysteries the universe held, she knew they would face them together. And in that quiet moment under the slowly brightening sky, Lena realized that life had given her a gift far greater than she had ever dreamed, a chance to love, protect, and share a bond with a child from the stars. The night was quiet, and the stars shone brighter than Lena had ever seen. Aren sat by the window, his golden eyes reflecting the sparkling lights above. Lena watched him from across the room, her heart full of love and concern. Something was different tonight. Aren seemed restless, almost as if he were waiting for someone. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the air outside. Lena's eyes widened. She had never heard this sound before. It was gentle, melodic, and carried a strange power that made the hair on her arms stand on end. Aren's eyes brightened, and he rose quickly, moving toward the door. Lena hurried after him, her heart racing with both fear and curiosity. Outside, in the garden, a shimmering light hovered above the ground. It was unlike anything Lena had ever seen, a soft, glowing figure that seemed almost human, yet not quite. Aren ran to the light, his small hands reaching out, and the figure responded, bending down to meet him. Lena's breath caught in her throat. The figure stepped closer, and she could now see that it was a woman. Her skin shimmered faintly like Aren's, and her eyes were warm and filled with love. The woman smiled gently at Lena, and Lena felt an immediate sense of calm. "I am his mother," the woman said softly, her voice musical and soothing. "I have come for him." Aren's tiny hand reached out, touching the glowing figure. He made a soft hum, full of happiness and relief. Lena watched silently, unsure of what to do. She knew this woman was important to Aren, but the thought of giving up the child she had come to love so deeply made her heart ache. The woman turned her gaze toward Lena. "I have watched over him from afar," she said. "He is safe because of you. You have cared for him with a love that crosses worlds." Lena felt tears prick her eyes. The woman continued, "I do not wish to take him away. I only wish to be with him." Lena's heart swelled with emotion. She realized that love was not limited by species, by planets, or by worlds. She had loved Aren with all her heart, and now she understood that his mother's love was just as strong. The thought of creating a family together rather than losing Aren filled her with hope. "Can I stay with you too?" the woman asked, her golden eyes gentle and sincere. Lena felt a rush of emotion. She could see the bond between mother and child, and she could see that they could all belong together. "Yes," Lena whispered, her voice trembling. "You can stay. We will be a family." Aren's small hands reached out to both women, and they enveloped him gently, forming a circle of warmth and love. Lena felt a joy she had never known. The little being she had found in the fields was no longer alone, and she was no longer alone either. Together, they could face whatever challenges might come. Over the next few days, Lena and Aren's mother, who introduced herself as Saren, began learning about each other's worlds. Saren was gentle and patient, observing Lena's daily routines and adapting to the human ways with a quiet determination. She marveled at the simplicity of Lena's life, the meals, the home, the gardens, but also respected the strange, magical qualities of the human world that were new to her. Aren was happier than Lena had ever seen him. He played with both women, laughing in his soft, musical way, and showing them the little wonders of his own abilities. Sometimes his glow would pulse gently, a sign of joy and comfort. Lena realized that with Saren's presence, Aren was complete. He could feel the love of both a mother from his world and a mother from this one. One afternoon, Lena and Saren sat in the garden, talking quietly while Aren explored nearby. Lena was amazed at how much she had learned from this otherworldly woman. Saren shared stories of her home, of distant stars, and of the gentle planet where Aren had been born. Lena listened with fascination, feeling a connection that went beyond words. "I worried for him," Saren said softly. "He is so small and the universe is so large. But I see now that he is safe and that you love him as I do." Lena reached out, taking Saren's hand in hers. "We will take care of him together," she said. "Always." The days passed, and life in Lena's home changed in subtle but wonderful ways. Saren helped Aren learn to communicate more clearly, teaching him simple words and gestures. Lena learned more about Aaron's abilities, discovering that his gentle touch could help plants grow faster, and that his hums could soothe small animals. Together, they created a home full of love, laughter, and wonder. At night, they would all sit by the window looking at the stars. Aaron would point to constellations, humming softly, and Saren would tell him stories of her home. Lena would listen quietly, feeling that she was witnessing something extraordinary. She realized that family was more than just people living together. It was about love, care, and the bonds that connected hearts across worlds. One evening, as the sky turned deep blue and the first stars appeared, Saren turned to Lena. "Thank you," she said softly, "for loving him, for keeping him safe, and for welcoming me." Lena smiled, her heart full. "No," she said gently. "Thank you for trusting me and for showing me that love has no limits." Aaron's small hands reached out to both women again, and they held him close. The glow of his skin filled the room with a soft, warm light, a symbol of their connection and their shared love. Lena realized that this moment, this family, was something she had always dreamed of without knowing it. Outside, the stars continued to shine, brighter than ever. Lena, Saren, and Aaron sat together, feeling the quiet magic of the universe around them. They did not know what the future held, but they knew that together they could face anything. Love, they realized, was stronger than fear, stronger than distance, stronger than the differences between worlds. And in that moment, Lena understood that she had not only adopted a child, she had embraced a whole new world, a new way of seeing life and a love that would last forever. The ordinary life she had known had transformed into something extraordinary, filled with hope, joy, and the unbreakable bond of family. The first rays of morning sunlight spilled through the windows of Lena's home, filling the rooms with warmth. Aaron woke early, his golden eyes glowing softly in the light. Beside him, Saren stretched her arms, her skin shimmering faintly in the sun. Lena watched them quietly, a soft smile on her face. Their small family had grown together quickly, and yet, in these ordinary moments, everything felt natural. Breakfast was a lively affair. Aaron giggled as he tried to pour juice into a small cup, spilling more on the table than inside it. Lena laughed, helping him steady the cup, while Saren encouraged him gently, showing patience and warmth. Lena realized that this ordinary act, preparing breakfast, sharing a laugh, was now extraordinary because it was filled with love. After breakfast, they decided to spend the day outdoors. Spring had fully arrived, and the garden was a riot of color. Aaron ran across the grass, chasing butterflies, while Saren moved among the flowers, her fingers brushing over petals with a soft glow. Lena felt a quiet joy watching them, marveling at how their small home had transformed into a place of wonder and happiness. Aaron suddenly stopped and looked up at the sky, his eyes bright. He hummed a melody that resonated with the wind. Lena followed his gaze and saw birds circling high above, their songs mingling with his hums. Saren knelt beside him, holding his tiny hand. "He is sharing his happiness with the world," she said softly. Lena nodded, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. It was as if the universe itself acknowledged their bond. That afternoon, Lena taught Aaron how to draw. She handed him a blank sheet of paper and some crayons. Aaron's small fingers moved carefully, creating patterns that glowed faintly under his touch. Saren watched with wonder, gently guiding him when needed. The drawings were strange but beautiful, a mixture of earth shapes and stars from another world. Lena realized that even in simple play, Aaron's extraordinary nature shone through. As the sun began to set, they all sat together on the porch, watching the sky turn shades of orange, pink, and purple. Aaron rested his head on Saren's shoulder, while Lena wrapped an arm around both of them. The quiet evening brought a sense of peace that Lena had never experienced before. For all its strangeness, their life felt complete, balanced by love, trust, and understanding. Days turned into weeks, and Lena, Aaron, and Saren continued to grow together. Lena taught Saren human ways, how to cook, how to use simple tools, and how to enjoy the little joys of life on Earth. Saren taught Lena about Aaron's home, about the stars, and about the gentle traditions of her world. Together they built a home that blended both worlds, where Earth's simplicity met the wonder of the cosmos. Aaron thrived in this environment. He learned words, gestures, and games, and each day his laughter filled the house. Lena often watched him quietly, realizing how much he had changed her life. He had brought her joy, purpose, and a deeper understanding of love. And now, with Saren by their side, Arin's happiness was complete. One evening, a soft breeze stirred the garden. Arin ran to the flower beds, humming a song of his own creation. Saren followed, smiling, while Lena watched, her heart swelling with pride and love. She realized that the extraordinary life she had once longed for had found her in the most unexpected way, through a child from the stars and his gentle, wise mother. Lena noticed something wonderful. The plants and flowers seemed to respond to Arin's presence. Leaves moved gently. Flowers turned slightly toward him, and the air felt alive with energy. Saren explained softly, "His gift is a reflection of his heart. He brings life wherever he goes, not by magic, but by love." Lena nodded, understanding that Arin's uniqueness was not just in his appearance or abilities, it was in the love he carried and shared. Life continued peacefully. They shared meals, played games, and explored the nearby fields together. Sometimes neighbors would notice strange lights in the sky or gentle melodic sounds in the evening. But Lena and Saren managed to keep Arin safe while allowing him small freedoms to explore. Each day reinforced their bond, creating a rhythm of love, laughter, and quiet wonder. One night, Lena sat by the window watching the stars. Arin and Saren were asleep, their small hands touching gently in a circle of warmth. Lena felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She had found a family in the most unexpected way, and she knew that love had guided her here. The ordinary life she had known had transformed into something extraordinary, full of meaning, joy, and hope. The next morning, a soft glow filled the garden. Arin had woken early and was humming softly, exploring the flowers and watching the sun rise. Saren joined him, teaching him the gentle ways of her world. Lena stood nearby, her heart full, realizing that this was not just a life she had saved, it was a life that had saved her too. Weeks turned into months, and their bond only grew stronger. Arin became more confident, learning new things daily, while Lena and Saren continued to guide him with patience and love. Their home became a sanctuary, a place where human and alien, earth and stars could coexist in harmony. One evening, as the sky turned golden with sunset, Arin sat between Lena and Saren. He looked up at both women, his glowing eyes filled with joy and trust. Lena reached out, holding his hand, while Saren placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. In that moment, Lena understood something profound. Family was not about where someone came from, or even what they were. It was about love, care, and the bonds that connected hearts. The stars above seemed to shine brighter that night, as if celebrating their happiness. Lena smiled, feeling the warmth of their family circle. The child she had found in a quiet field, the mother who had crossed worlds to be with him, and she herself, together, they had created a life filled with hope, love, and endless possibilities. As the moon rose and the night settled around them, Lena whispered softly, "We will face everything together. No matter what comes, we are a family." Arin hummed in response, a gentle musical sound that echoed their promise. Saren nodded, her eyes shining with emotion. Together, they watched the night sky, feeling a quiet connection to the universe and to each other. In the days that followed, their life continued with simple joys and small adventures. Arin learned more about the world, discovering both human and alien wonders. Lena found fulfillment she had never known, and Saren found a home on Earth surrounded by love and trust. They were ordinary in appearance, yet extraordinary in the way their hearts had connected, creating a family that transcended worlds. And so life moved forward, calm and magical. The world outside might never fully understand them, but it did not matter. Lena, Arin, and Saren had found something more important than acceptance. They had found each other. Their days were filled with laughter, learning, and the quiet magic of love. And every night under the watchful stars, they knew they belonged together. This was a family made not by blood alone, but by care, trust, and the purest love imaginable. And as the stars shone above, Lena felt certain that no matter what the future held, their hearts would remain forever connected. A family bound by love, courage, and the extraordinary magic of finding one another.